Welcome everyone. This is lecture 3, Privileged Communication and Confidentiality. Myself, Dr. Vinit Vivek Sindnarkar, Professor, Department of Forensic Medicine and Toxicology, Dr. D.Y. Patil Homeopathic Medical College, Pimpri, Pune, Maharashtra. Privileged communication refers to the legal protection that keeps certain communications between a patient and their healthcare provider confidential. In practice, privileged communication means that healthcare providers cannot be compelled to reveal the details of these conversations in legal settings such as court cases. This protection is crucial for maintaining trust in the patient-provider relationship and ensure that patients feel safe discussing their health issues openly. Exceptions to confidentiality. Threats of harm. If a patient discloses intentions to harm themselves or others, healthcare providers may be required to report this information to prevent imminent danger. This is often referred to as the duty to warn or duty to protect. Abuse or neglect. If a healthcare provider suspects that a patient is a victim of child abuse, elder abuse, or neglect, they are mandated by law to report these suspicions to the appropriate authorities, even if the information was shared in confidence. Legal proceedings. In some legal situations, such as court cases, a judge may issue a subpoena requiring a healthcare provider to disclose certain information. This is often seen in cases where the patient's medical history is pertinent to the legal issue at hand. Public health concerns. Providers might be required to report certain communicable diseases or outbreaks to public health authorities to control the spread of illness. Insurance claims. When patients file insurance claim, they often need to provide access to their medical records, which might involve disclosing information that would otherwise be confidential. And professional review. In some cases, confidential information might be reviewed by medical boards or committees for purposes such as or quality assurance. However, these reviews are typically conducted under strict confidentiality guidelines. Consent. If a patient provides written consent to release their information to a specific individual or organization, the privileged communication is waived in that context. Mental health evaluation. In some jurisdictions, information from mental health evaluation may be disclosed if it is relevant to ongoing legal proceedings, particularly in cases involving mental competency or criminal responsibility. Now, I'll discuss one case. Dr. Ananya is a general physician working in a small hospital in Mumbai. She sees a diverse range of patients, including those from different socio-economic backgrounds. One day, a 20-year-old patient, Priya Mehta, comes in for routine checkup. Priya is a high-profile corporate employee who has been experiencing severe anxiety and panic attacks. During her consultation, Priya opens up to Dr. Ananya about her struggles with severe anxiety and panic attacks. She mentioned that she has been considering self-harm and has recently confided in a therapist about her suicidal thoughts. Priya is deeply distressed and expresses her fear that her personal issues might become public if her medical records are not kept confidential. Dr. Ananya reassures Priya that everything she discusses will remain confidential due to the principles of privileged communication. However, Priya is still worried about her privacy and potential repercussions if her sensitive information is disclosed. Resolution. Dr. Ananya sensitively discusses with Priya the limitation of confidentiality, particularly concerning situations where there is a risk of imminent harm. She assures Priya that her personal information will remain confidential to the greatest extent possible. To provide further support, Dr. Sharma refers Priya to a specialist for more in-depth mental health care and advises her on coping mechanism and support system. Throughout the process, Dr. Ananya maintains clear communication with Priya about any potential need to disclose information if it is necessary to ensure her safety. Priya is given options and control over what information is shared with and with whom, ensuring her autonomy and trust in the healthcare system. Outcome: Priya feels reassured about the confidentiality of her medical records and is grateful for Dr. Ananya's empathetic approach. She continues with her mental health systems under the care of both Dr. Ananya and the specialist, receiving the support she needs without the fear of unauthorized disclosure of her sensitive information. Legal basis for privileged communication. Common law principles. Doctor-patient privilege. Historically, common law recognized the importance of confidentiality in the doctor-patient relationship. The principle evolved to protect patient information from being disclosed without consent. Statutory law. Confidentiality statute. Various jurisdictions have enacted specific statutes that protects patients' information. These laws define the scope of privileged communication and outline circumstances under which exceptions apply. Mental health confidentiality laws. Many countries have laws specifically addressing the confidentiality of mental health records and communications. These laws often provide more stringent protections than general medical privacy laws. Legal precedents and case law. Judicial interpretation. Courts have interpreted and applied the principles of privileged communication in various cases, shaping the legal standards. For example, rulings have established guidelines on how privilege applies in cases of mandatory reporting or when a patient's safety is at risk. Mandatory reporting laws. Legal exceptions. There are some legal exceptions. As noted earlier, certain situations such as an abuse or imminent threats to safety create exceptions to confidentiality, often mandated by law. These exceptions are designed to balance individual privacy with public safety and welfare. Institutional policies. Healthcare facility policies. Many healthcare institutions have their own policies regarding patient confidentiality and privileged communication, which are designed to comply with both legal requirements and professional standards. Scope of privileged communication and confidentiality. At the core of medical ethics is the principle of confidentiality, which mandates that personal health information shared by patients with their healthcare providers remain private. This includes a broad spectrum of data such as medical history, test result, and treatment plans. The assurance of confidentiality is critical for creating an environment where patients feel safe to disclose sensitive information, which is essential for accurate diagnosis and effective treatment. Privileged communication extends this confidentiality into the legal domain, ensuring that communications between patients and healthcare providers are protected from being disclosed in legal settings without the patient's consent. These legal safeguards helps maintain the integrity of the patient-provider relationship, encouraging patients to share complete and honest information without fear of repercussions. Confidentiality. Patient's confidentiality is a cornerstone of medical ethics and legal standards in India, deeply rooted in both traditional values and modern healthcare regulations. Confidentiality has a historical and cultural background. Traditional values in India, the concept of confidentiality is closely linked to the traditional values of trust and respect between a healer and a patient. Ancient texts like the Charaka Samhita, a foundational treatise on Ayurveda, emphasize the duty of their patients' conditions, recognizing the importance of trust in the healing relationship. This emphasis on confidentiality in traditional Indian medicine has continued into modern times forming the ethical backbone of contemporary medical practice in the country. Legal framework for the patient's confidentiality in India. Indian Medical Council Regulations, Professional Conduct, Etiquettes and Ethics 2002 suggest these regulations mandate that doctors must keep patients' information confidential unless the patient consents to disclosure or the law requires it. Medical professionals are ethically obligated to maintain the confidentiality of all personal and medical information obtained during the course of treatment except under specific circumstances such as legal proceedings or threats to public health. Indian Penal Code IPC section 192 and 193. These sections deal with consequences related to disclosure of confidential information under certain conditions, emphasizing the legal responsibility of medical practitioners to safeguard patient information. Breach of confidentiality by a healthcare provider could result in legal repercussions including civil and criminal liabilities. Legal framework for patient confidentiality in India. These regulations mandate that doctor must keep patient information confidential unless the patient consents to disclosure or the law requires it. Medical professionals are ethically obligated to maintain the confidentiality of personal and medical information obtained during the course of treatment except under specific circumstances as legal proceedings or threats to public health. Data Protection and Privacy Laws, Information Technology Act 2000, Amendment 2008. The IT Act, along with its amendments, includes provision to protect sensitive personal data, including medical records. It holds service providers responsible for maintaining the privacy and confidentiality of such information. Proposed data protection laws. The Personal Data Protection Bill 2019, which is yet to be fully implemented, aims to strengthen the legal framework around data protection, including stringent guidelines on the handling of sensitive personal data like health information. This bill, once enacted, is expected to bring India's data privacy standard closer to global practices like the EU's General Data Protection Regulation. Exceptions to confidentiality in Indian law. First will be legal obligations. Indian laws mandate exceptions to confidentiality under specific conditions such as mandatory reporting of communicable diseases. Healthcare providers are required to report certain infectious diseases to public health authorities to prevent outbreaks and ensure public safety. Criminal activity. If patient information reveals involvement in criminal activities or possesses a risk to public safety, healthcare providers may be legally obligated to disclose it. Mental Healthcare Act 2017. This act includes provisions for protecting the confidentiality of individuals seeking mental health treatment with specific guidelines on how and when information can be disclosed, primarily aimed at safeguarding the rights of those with mental health conditions. Role of ethical guidelines and professional standards. National Medical Commission, that is NMC, the guideline set by the National Medical Commission, formerly the Medical Council of India, emphasizes that patient confidentiality must be strictly maintained as a part of doctor's professional duty. Homeopathy and other traditional medicine codes are also do the same thing. Ethical guidelines from bodies like the National Commission for Homeopathy also stress the importance of maintaining patient confidentiality, highlighting this principle as a central to the ethical practice of medicine in India. Challenges in maintaining confidentiality. Social and cultural factors. In India, the cultural context sometimes complicates the principle of confidentiality. For example, family members are often heavily involved in medical decision making, leading to situations where patient information might be disclosed to relatives without the patient's explicit consent. There can be societal pressure to reveal sensitive medical information, especially in cases related to mental health, sexually transmitted infections, or terminal illnesses, which may lead to stigma and discrimination. Second is technological and infrastructural issues. The transition to digital health records has raised concerns about data security and unauthorized access. In many healthcare settings, outdated systems and lack of robust cybersecurity measures can increase the risk of breaches. Rural healthcare systems often lack the infrastructure to securely handle patients' data, leading to challenges in maintaining the confidentiality standards seen in urban hospitals and clinics. Ethical importance of confidentiality in Indian healthcare. Patient autonomy and trust. Respecting confidentiality is crucial for patients' autonomy, allowing individuals to make informed decisions without fear that their private health information might be disclosed without their consent. In a country where health conditions like HIV or AIDS, mental health disorders or tuberculosis can carry social stigma, maintaining confidentiality is essential to encourage people to seek treatment without fear of discrimination or societal backlash. Impact on healthcare quality. Protecting patient confidentiality is key to fostering a trusting environment where patients feel safe discussing their health issues openly, leading to better diagnosis, treatment, and outcomes. Recent developments and future directions. Strengthening legal protections. With the increasing focus on digital healthcare and telemedicine, India is moving towards implementing stronger data protection laws that will further safeguard patient information. Awareness and training. Medical institutions are increasingly incorporating patient confidentiality protocols into their training programs, emphasizing the importance of ethical standards in everyday medical practice. In India, the scope of these principles is reinforced by various regulations and ethical guidelines. The guidelines set by National Commission for Homeopathy, Professional Conduct, Etiquettes and Ethics underscores the necessity of protecting patient privacy. These regulations mandate that medical professionals uphold confidentiality as a part of their duty of care. The legal framework further reinforces this ethical stance with provisions in place to safeguard patient information against unauthorized disclosure. These standards are designed to build and maintain trust between patients and healthcare providers, which is crucial for the effectiveness of medical care. Now, limitations of privileged communication and confidentiality. Despite the robust framework supporting privileged communication and confidentiality, there are notable limitations that healthcare professionals must consider. One significant limitation is the necessity to breach confidentiality when there is a risk of harm. For instance, if a patient exhibits suicidal ideation or possesses threat of violence, healthcare providers may be required to disclose information to appropriate authorities or family members to prevent imminent harm. This obligation, while essential for safeguarding the patient and others, can sometimes conflict with the principle of confidentiality. Legal requirements also impose limitations on confidentiality. In certain cases, such as suspected child abuse or elder abuse, healthcare professionals are mandated by law to report their findings to authorities. Similarly, in the event of a court order, medical records may be disclosed as part of legal proceedings, overriding patient confidentiality. Moreover, patient understanding of confidentiality can sometimes be limited. Patients may not always be fully aware of the boundaries of confidentiality and the conditions under which their information might be disclosed. Clear communication about these limitations is essential to prevent misunderstandings and ensure patients make informed decisions about their care. Public health considerations also impose limitations on confidentiality. During outbreaks of communicable diseases or other public health emergencies, healthcare providers may be required to share information with public health authorities to manage and control the situation. This necessity can limit patient confidentiality in the interest of broader public health goals. Ethical importance of confidentiality. Confidentiality is a cornerstone of ethical medical practice in India, crucial for fostering trust between patient and healthcare providers. By ensuring that personal health information remains private, confidentiality encourages patients to disclose sensitive details necessary for accurate diagnosis and effective treatment. This is particularly important in India, where social stigma surrounding conditions such as HIV or AIDS or mental health issues can deter individuals from seeking care. Upholding confidentiality aligns with ethical and legal standards set by the National Commission for Homeopathy, which mandate the protection of patients' privacy. It also respects patients' autonomy, empowering individuals to make informed decisions about their health without fear of societal retribution. Breaches of confidentiality can lead to discrimination and harm, impacting individuals and healthcare system negatively. Moreover, navigating India's diverse cultural landscape with sensitivity to privacy issues help providers offer care that is respectful and culturally competent. Thus, confidentiality not only supports the integrity of medical practice but also contributes to a more equitable and compassionate healthcare environment, making it an essential aspect of ethical medical practice in India. Ethical and legal obligations. The ethical importance of confidentiality is enshrined in various professional and legal frameworks in India. The guidelines set by National Commission for Homeopathy, Professional Conduct Etiquettes and Ethics underscores the necessity of protecting patients' privacy. These regulations mandate that medical professionals uphold confidentiality as part of their duty of care. The legal framework further reinforces this ethical stance with provisions in place to safeguard patient information against unauthorized disclosure. Protecting patients' autonomy. Confidentiality is closely linked to the principle of patient autonomy. Respecting patient privacy and ensuring that information is not disclosed without consent empowers individuals to make informed decisions about their own health care. In India, where the autonomy of patient is sometimes overshadowed by family or societal pressures, upholding confidentiality is essential for ensuring that patients retain control over their personal health decisions. This respect for autonomy not only aligns with ethical standards but also supports the broader human rights framework within which medical practice operates. Preventing potential harm and societal impact. Breaches of confidentiality can lead to significant harm both to individuals and to healthcare system as a whole. In India, where social norms and values can heavily influence personal and professional lives, unauthorized disclosure of health information can lead to discrimination, stigmatization, and even violence against individuals. For instance, patients with mental issues or chronic illnesses might face isolation or prejudice if their conditions are disclosed without their consent. By maintaining strict confidentiality, healthcare providers protect individuals from such adverse outcomes and contribute to a more equitable and compassionate society. India's diverse cultural landscape requires healthcare providers to be particularly sensitive to issues of confidentiality. Different communities may have varying perceptions of privacy and confidentiality, influenced by cultural and religious beliefs. Ensuring that confidentiality is respected helps healthcare providers navigate these cultural sensitivities and deliver care in a manner that is respectful and aligned with the values of their patients. This cultural competent approach not only enhances the effectiveness of medical care but also strengthen the relationship between healthcare providers and patients. Now, we'll start with one case, confidentiality in a case of victim of sexual assault. Dr. Neelam Singh is an experienced gynecologist working in a major hospital in Bangalore. One evening, a young woman, Priya Sharma, aged 22, comes to the emergency department seeking medical attention after a recent sexual assault. Priya is visibly distressed and anxious, and she requests immediate care while expressing deep concern about privacy. Scenario is, during her consultation, Priya reveals details of the assault, including the identity of perpetrator, who is well-known public figure. Priya is fearful of potential social repercussion and harassment if her case becomes public. She explicitly asked Dr. Singh to keep all information related to her assault confidential and not to report the incident to anyone outside the immediate healthcare team. Now here ethical and legal consideration will be maintaining trust. Priya's request for confidentiality is grounded in her fear of stigma and personal safety. Dr. Singh understands that maintaining confidentiality is essential for providing a safe and supportive environment for Priya. Indian Medical Council guidelines, according to the guidelines set by the National Commission for Homeopathy and the Indian Medical Council, suggest the necessity of protecting patients' privacy. Dr. Singh is obligated to keep Priya's medical information private unless required by law. This includes respecting Priya's wishes regarding the non-disclosure of her case details. But there are some mandatory reporting, like legal requirement. In India, healthcare providers may face legal requirements to report cases of sexual assault to authorities, particularly to ensure the safety of the victim and to aid in the investigation of the crime. However, in this case, Priya is adamant about her desire for confidentiality and does not want any official reports filed at this time. Risk of harm. If there is a risk of harm to Priya or if the perpetrator possesses a continued threat to others, Dr. Singh may need to consider whether reporting the incident is necessary. However, any decision to breach confidentiality would involve careful consideration, including discussions with legal advisors and Priya herself, to ensure that her wishes are respected to the greatest extent possible. So what was the decision taken? Dr. Singh ensures that Priya's medical records are kept secure and that only necessary medical staff are involved in her case. She provided Priya with information about support services and counseling while respecting her request for confidentiality. Dr. Singh also discusses the implications of reporting the assault with Priya, emphasizing the potential benefits of involving law enforcement for her safety, but ultimately defers to Priya's decision. Conclusion: Priya receives the medical care she needs in supportive and confidential environment by upholding the principle of confidentiality. Dr. Singh helps Priya feel safe and respected, allowing her to focus on her recovery. The sensitive handling of the case maintains the integrity of the patient-provider relationship and ensures that patients' rights and wishes are honored. This case study underscores the profound importance of confidentiality in medical practice, particularly in cases involving sensitive issues such as sexual assault. Upholding patients' privacy is essential for maintaining trust, providing compassionate care, and supporting victims through traumatic experiences. Balancing the need for confidentiality with legal obligations requires careful navigation, but respecting patient wishes is central to ethical medical practice and patient autonomy. Now there is another case. Dr. Rajesh Kumar, a prominent cardiologist in Delhi, was approached by a high-profile patient, Mr. Arjun Patel, a well-known industrialist. Mr. Patel was experiencing severe chest pain and required an urgent evaluation. During the consultation, Dr. Kumar conducted thorough examination and advised Mr. Patel to undergo several diagnostic tests. Following the test, Dr. Kumar diagnosed Mr. Patel with a serious heart condition that required immediate intervention. Mr. Patel was deeply concerned about the potential impact of this diagnosis on his public image and business operations. He explicitly requested that the details of his medical conditions remain confidential and not to be disclosed to anyone outside the immediate healthcare team. Ethical and legal consideration, confidentiality and trust, legal obligation, risk of disclosure and emergency situations. In this case, Dr. Kumar respected Mr. Patel's request for confidentiality, ensuring that all medical records and communications were handled discreetly. He took extra precautions to secure Mr. Patel's information, including using encrypted communication channels and limited access to his medical records. Additionally, Dr. Kumar provided Mr. Patel with a comprehensive treatment plan, including follow-up appointments, while maintaining the highest standard of privacy. Conclusion: this study illustrates the critical importance of privileged communication and confidentiality in medical practice. It demonstrates how safeguarding patient privacy is essential for maintaining trust, complying with legal and ethical standards, and protecting individuals for potential harm. In high-profile cases or situations involving sensitive health information, strict adherence to confidentiality is crucial for ensuring both the effectiveness of medical care and the preservation of patient dignity. Summary of key points. Importance of confidentiality and privileged communication. Confidentiality essential for maintaining patient trust and ensuring the effective delivery of care. Protect patient information from unauthorized access and disclosure. Privileged communication, legal protection that prevents certain communications between patients and healthcare providers from being disclosed without consent. This ensures that sensitive information shared in a professional context remain confidential. Legal and ethical responsibilities. Confidentiality is essential for maintaining patients' trust and ensuring the effective delivery of care. Protect patients' information from unauthorized access and disclosure. Privileged communication, legal protection that prevents certain communications between patients and healthcare providers from being disclosed without consent. Ensure that sensitive information shared in a professional context remain confidential. Call to action for healthcare providers. First is stay informed. Keep up to date with current privacy laws and regulation to ensure compliance. Implement policies. Develop and enforce comprehensive confidentiality policies and procedures within your practice or organization. Conduct training. Regularly train staff on best practices for handling patients' information and responding to privacy concerns. Some points has to be learned by patients also, that know your rights, understand your rights regarding privacy and how your health information is managed. Communicate concerns. Discuss any concerns about confidentiality with your healthcare providers to ensure clarity and comfort regarding the handling of your information. This concludes lecture 3, privileged communication and confidentiality. You are about to take 20 MCQs on this particular topic. Thank you.